Hey folks, this is the old left here. It's been a little while since I've talked to all of you, so here I am, ready to do commentary once again. It's about a week now, but I feel like it's imperative for me to address this since it's already happened as a major event. Uh, Former President Nelson Mandela died on December 5th, 2013. He lived from 1918 to 1913, 95 years old. He died. He had a long life and a very rewarding life at that. Made monumental changes that are to be recognized. And I just want to do this commentary in dedication to Nelson Mandela, who fought against apartheid, fought against the racism, the segregation, that sort of thing. I'm 44 years old, almost 45, and I remember the anti-apartheid struggle pretty well in the 1980s, and I remember political figures in America having all kinds of opinions on apartheid. And was one of the things that turned me away from ever embracing the political right. I remember back when I was in high school, there was this discussion about imposing sanctions on South Africa. The Reagan administration and Margaret Thatcher in Great Britain were against imposing sanctions on South Africa on the premise that it might just bring about communism. But the truth be told, especially here in America, when you think about some of the people that were supportive of the Reagan administration and what was constituted as a faction of the right of the Reagan Revolution. I'm referring to a lot of the neo-segregationists, the Southern Strategy people that made it into the Republican Party. And many of them probably just admired a state that had racial segregation. But some of them used the excuse of, oh my, we better not do anything about South Africa. It might trigger a communist revolution. And when Nelson Mandela was freed in 1990, there were some people on the right that wanted to go and bash him, saying, well, Nelson Mandela had friends from Fidel Castro in Cuba, and Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, and Yasser Arafat, who was the chair of the Palestinian Liberation Organization. Okay, folks, I may not care for Fidel Castro, may not care for Muammar Gaddafi, nor would I care for someone like Yasser Arafat. But I look at it this way. Nelson Mandela found friends who were there willing to give him and the African National Congress a hand in ending apartheid. It would have been kind of nice if the United States, with all its power and prestige, said, hey, we're interested in ending apartheid too. And it could have just been less necessary to rely on bad people who have good intentions in one area or another, such as Castro's, Arafat's, and Gaddafi's opposition to apartheid. Stop clock gets the right time twice a day. But the Reagan administration was pressure into imposing those sanctions back in the late 80s, and eventually by 1995, under President F.W. de Klerk, apartheid was abolished officially. South Africa became a multiracial democracy, and that's a good thing. Probably since 1995, there's been problems in South Africa on trying to get the economy going or what have you. But thing about it is there's been progress made in South Africa, and I don't care what some of the right-wing naysayers want to say, and saying, well, things were better for the people, blacks under apartheid, what have you. Really, you know, when blacks were discriminated against and they were kept poor by the government of apartheid, white minority imposed rule, made the black population impoverished. They had every right to be angry, and they had every right to react, and they did. Progress has been made since the ending of apartheid. The death penalty is abolished. That's a good thing. South Africa now has gay marriage. That's a good thing. South Africa is right now on the process of creating a national health care system so everybody in South Africa can have free medical care. That is a good thing. And all this has been done by the semi-radical / semi-revisionist African National Congress. And what I mean by semi-radical and semi-revisionist is that the African National Congress was the revolutionary force that abolished apartheid. It is a social democratic party affiliated with the Socialist International. Semi-revisionist meaning that no matter how benevolent a movement is, you're always going to have moderate and reactionary or questionable factions that will get a lot of influence. And unfortunately, there's been a whole lot of placating to corporate dollars, but progress comes slow, but progress is being made. So anyway, without trying to rant too much, I'm glad that apartheid is abolished, and for Nelson Mandela, you are an inspiration for all of us, for those that favor economic, social justice, and racial and ethnic equality. Thank you, folks. Please go ahead and respond, good, bad, and indifferent. And here is my seasonal message, which is not politically correct, but tolerant and pluralistic. And that is Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to each and every one of you. Take care. Have a great day.